Hi everyone, it's Katie from Without a Crystal Ball. I hope you guys are having a good evening. It's been a day here, massive day. Um, Outside of this story, there's like crazy stuff going on with Jessica Ganoff, and I haven't decided if I'm going to do a stream about it because there's like a massive raid going on at her house right now. So that's intense. But let's get to the what we're talking about for tonight's stream, which is related to Bodhi and Jani and the show, the Schofield kids. So um, before you get started, make sure you give me a thumbs up and subscribe if you haven't, ring the bell, all those good things. Okay, so let's talk here. It's been 5 months. The kids were removed on March 8th. So it has been almost 5 months since the children, Jani and Bodhi, were removed from Susan Schofield's home. And there was a ruling in the case, and the court made their decision. So I have that information, and I don't know, it's a mixed bag, you guys. I'm emotional. I'm upset. Here's what's going on. So after everything was said and done, after all of the evaluations were brought in, after everything by the court was reviewed, and the defense and Susan's attorneys and the prosecution, or I'm sorry, not the prosecution, it's a civil case. After DCFS presented their side of it, evaluation was completed by a third party that looked at all the different things. The judge ends up throwing all of that out and basically rules on he sustains everything. So what does that mean? That means he agreed that DCFS made their case, that they met their criteria for the emergency removal, i.e., their charges of her abuse and neglect of the kids, and then one of the charges was not sustained, so it was they threw it out. So they basically this was the adjudication phase, basically saying that they've met the standard. The judge said that the removal of the children was warranted, and at this point, they will have to set together a group or a timeline for reunification. And it sounds like this is where it gets crazy. She's going to have probably around 18 months to complete everything that the court orders if she complies. However, in order to comply, she'll have to actually acknowledge what she's done. And at this point, it does not sound like she has taken any responsibility whatsoever, and she is instead blaming other people, everyone but herself. And unless she gets to a place where she will be able to accept what she's done and take the necessary steps to get better, it's unlikely that she'll get the kids back. So this is where it gets this is where I get very emotional, you guys, because so Bodhi's 11 and Jani she's going to turn 17 this month. Jani will age out while she'll age out of like foster care while, Susan, unless like Susan has 18 months, and at some point she could just say, I don't want him back, like she has to actually do the steps. And if she doesn't do the steps and doesn't comply, then, they're going to end up terminating her. Right. But by that point, legally, Jani will be an adult and Bodhi will not. Bodhi will still be like 12 years old. So what does that mean for the kids? Bodhi's going to stay with his foster family. He has a really, 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 really good foster mother, apparently, according to sources. that love him very much, that have his best interests in mind, that have really taken a vested interest in him, that he absolutely adores and loves. He is in a really, really, really good place, a very good home. There's brothers and sisters there. And so he has a place. Jani does not. She's still in a group home. She's got a wonderful staff that care about her very much. And I guess she could probably stay there for years, but if the kids are not reunited with Susan, it's not likely that they'll be reunited with Michael. Michael, in March, when I spoke to him, wasn't in a position to take the kids. I mean, that's literally what he told me in March when I spoke with him. He just didn't have, he was dealing with a lot emotionally and mentally, and wasn't emotionally or mentally capable at that point. And I don't know that that's, I haven't, like I said, I haven't talked to him, but I don't know that that's changed. And since he hasn't taken them yet, I can't imagine that he'll take them later, which means that the kids will be without parents. It's true. Completely. And Bodhi theoretically could be adopted by his foster parents if they decide to adopt him. And Michael would just have to relinquish his rights to do that. At this point, he has custody, but he doesn't have physical custody. Or he has parental rights, but he doesn't have custody of the kids anymore. So there's a lot of stuff that are in limbo right now. A lot. So much. And it's, God, you guys, I feel like, knowing that, I feel like my heart is smashed into a million pieces. Having talked to sources connected into all of this, I feel gutted. Gutted. I think that's a good word. I feel like these kids just deserve so much more than this. And to know at the end of the day that Jani doesn't have a foster family. She doesn't have a mother. She doesn't have anyone. That literally breaks my heart. God, I'm so many people fucked up. So many people fucked up. And I am just you're happy because God, they're gonna be safe now, but then it's fuck, she has nowhere to go. She's 17. And even if they're better off, they don't have family anymore, I think that's what really gets me. So, we'll have to see. I did confirm, Susan's father passed away, I think, a couple weeks ago. I didn't get any more confirmation of whether or not she was in court at any point during this at all. I didn't really get any sense of any of that. So I don't know if she showed up or not. And I don't know that she had to be honest. This was just a presentation of what they had, and the defense had their opportunity to present their case, and then the judge made the decision. So as long as she had legal representation there on her behalf, I don't know that she actually had to be there. And I don't think she testified at all. So yeah. like Bodhi could theoretically be adopted, and like Jani just won't. And I think that's the part that just gets me. And I think Jani really wants to be with her little brother. She like misses Bodhi a lot. And they just can't find placement for her because she's 17 and she still has a lot of special needs. So I know a lot of you have been worried about if there's anything like permanent going on here. They don't know yet. I was told last week by a source that she'll be seeing a neurologist this week. So they'll be doing all of the testing to see from a neurological standpoint where she's at. An update on his book. The publisher will not pull the book at this point because the publisher would lose money on a book that they've already lost money on, I guess. I had no idea, but I guess the book didn't, even though it was a New York Times bestseller, didn't make that much. Seems odd. Who knew? I thought New York Times bestsellers made a lot of money, but I guess not. So even though the publisher knows that the story isn't true, there hasn't been like a formal removal by a doctor yet. So that will have to take place. And then even though it was proven in court and stuff, like the publisher won't remove it. They said it would make them lose more money and it would cost more to remove it and blah, 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 blah. And like, he doesn't have the cash to fight with them about it. So, yeah. So the book will remain. Who knows if anyone still buys it? Who has any idea? It was the publisher owns the rights to the book. He has absolutely no say in what they do with it. So at this point, the story's out there. It exists. It's there. It's everywhere. That's the sad aspect of being a author when you have a large publisher is you don't own your work. So his book will remain on the shelves. He will stay in Minnesota. The kids will stay in California. Susan will stay in somewhere in an apartment where she like manically shares random videos about her kids. She has denied that she's connected to that YouTube page. And what else? I was brought up in court. Did I tell you guys that? Did I tell you guys that? I was brought up in court. Yeah, me. Little old me was brought up in court. Oh my God. Seriously, my stories were brought up in court. I can't even believe that. Yeah. So, yes. So there's a gag order, right, you guys? And I have sources, okay? But they're not the parents, okay? And those are the people that have the gag orders are Michael and Susan. So I'm not getting my information from either one of them, right? And other people that are connected that might talk to them off the record or whatever, like they can... Gag orders only work so much as how quiet the people can stay, you know what I mean? And like if someone talks to a friend and that friend talks to a friend, that's kind of how all of this sort of gets out, right? And there's been some leaks from multiple people, and it's been wild. I wrote a story last week, and apparently Susan's attorney tried to argue in court that Michael that he violated the gag order and that he spoke to me, which is insane. I'm not even kidding. And they brought up the article and they brought up Pathos. So there's absolutely no doubt, you guys, that Susan is reading what I'm writing. Unbelievable. Oh my God, unbelievable. Absolutely unbelievable. So they threw it out. They tossed it. They said it wasn't a violation. There was nothing in there. There was nothing to see here. But it always makes me kind of giggle or not even giggle, but just sort of you know, when you find out that something you've put out there is like being discussed in, they said Pathio's on Without a Crystal Ball, I guess. Like, I don't even know. Unbelievable. So, yeah, but I have permission by these sources to disclose this information, so it's not like I'm violating anything. The photos that were released last week came from the family, so those weren't, again, like a violation. Those were actually posted publicly on Facebook. I'm not even lying. Um, so there's a lot of, you know, there was some people being like, you shouldn't have posted those photos. They were posted publicly on Facebook last week. So it wasn't like someone just like dropped them in my inbox or whatnot. They do not know. Yeah, the sources in the Connected did say that they have been very grateful for my work and getting the story out because nobody else will cover it. So, and they will just, you know, keep me posted and be open with me. And, you know, everyone has opinions about everything. And it's hard because I've spoken to like Michael, you know, and so I have respect for him as a person because he like can acknowledge that he totally messed up and he screwed up and he just, his kids, he just has let them down and he knows that. And you know, it's like, and then in the one breath it's like I want to be angry, right, at him for being that way, and in the same breath it's like, if you as an adult know that you can't give what somebody needs, and these are high needs kids, and you know that you cannot emotionally or mentally meet those needs, to make that decision as a parent and as a human being, that's enormous. So while a lot of people will want to call him like a turd, I almost commend him for being able to make that statement, because it's better that he not screw it up even more, you know? And at least he can acknowledge sort of his shortcomings, whereas Susan can't. It's just like, she cannot at all. So, yeah. Yeah, I don't know. Yes, I guess Susan, or I'm sorry, no, yeah, Jani and Bodhi have seen each other. Yes, they have seen each other. I don't know what kind of schedule that looks like. I don't have that kind of detail. Like, I just don't. So that's, thanks guys. I got nailed for my video earlier today. I got completely destroyed. So on Jessica Jana, I can tune out, and if you guys can stay online, I'm gonna start a new stream, and I can give you all the skinny about what's going on with that chick if you want me to tell you about it. I got completely destroyed when I tried to even like have the audacity to say that I didn't agree with Blair White's approach, but I'm not gonna have a ton of, you know, I'm not gonna win them all. I'm not gonna win them all. So, all right, I'm gonna end this stream, and then I'll set up a new stream so that they don't overlap. So if people come in after the fact, they can see that the Jani and Bodhi one have up, and then I'll have the Jessica one up, and we'll go from there. All right, so I'll be back in like 2 minutes. All right, thanks guys. So I guess we can just say for now the kids are safe.